Hi everybody. I've been working on my friend's condo for the last couple of weeks now, getting it all freshened up for her to rent out. So let's take a walk through and see the progress, see what I got done. One of the things I got done is I straightened this little door knocker. It was tilted just enough to irritate the heck out of me, so I leveled that out. Let's go in and take a look. Okay, the major work started right here at the entryway. There were some brackets for some old kind of locks that this had there was no hardware on this side of the door, so I took all the hardware off for that side of the door. Going down here, this conduit, which has the cable for cable TV running through it, was just laying on the floor, so I reattached that to the wall. This bump stop here was actually pushed all the way in. There was a big hole through there, and that was just sunk right into the drywall. There was no 2x4s, no studs, no backings in it. It was just screwed onto the drywall. So what I did was I cut out a big square. I put some 1/4 inch plywood back there for a little bit of support, taped it, mudded it, and then reattached it. The switch here, there used to be a dimmer switch that wasn't working any longer. Instead of replacing it with another dimmer switch, which would have been about $34, I replaced it with this little $2 switch. The entryway used to be kind of a cream color, a yellowish cream color. It's now all white. The original idea was to paint the whole entire condo all white. When I got here, I found old paints that had been used previously in the condo and counted 14 different colors that had been used. So instead of trying to match up all 14 different colors, the original idea was to just go with all white. However, after trying to cover up even the lightest of colors and seeing that it was going to take about 5 or 6 coats to fully cover it up and get it to white, I decided to do the hallway in white, and we'll see how the rest of the condo looks as we go through it. Stairs are shampooed and cleaned. Coming around the closet, that wall back there was pretty messed up. So I just went through, and luckily it just took a nice scrubbing and I got it all cleaned up. Except for that one little stain there that after 4 coats, that's still how much shows through. Coming into the living room, this is where we started getting some color. I don't know if it's going to show up very well on the camera. It doesn't seem to be, looks white on the camera, but actually it's green. Maybe if I pan around you can see it a little better. Yeah, that's a little bit better representation of the color. It is green. It was the original color of this wall, and these other 3 walls here were actually a lighter green, but I just went with one color green for the entire room to try to cut down on the number of different colors that we were using throughout the whole place. Went through, and all these receptacles here, the receptacles were, I don't know how many years old, decades old. The building was built in 1972, so I'm imagining the receptacles were the original receptacles, but they were loose. The plugs didn't fit in. When you try to plug something in, it either wouldn't go in or it would just kind of flop around once it was in there. So I've replaced all the switches and outlets throughout the entire condo. The faceplate that you see there is made out of metal. It's commercial grade faceplate, and it was covered with decades worth of paint. I decided to strip them all down to the original bare metal, and it was actually a really easy process. If you have metal faceplates or any kind of things like that are covered in paint, decades of paint, all you got to do is boil them. Boil them for about 15 minutes. If you want, throw a little baking soda in there. It seems to speed up the process or enhance the process a little bit. And the paint will literally just peel right off. Just a regular dish sponge, you can wipe the paint right off. It was amazing. I was really impressed. So we painted this room. Air conditioner, cleaned out the filters of the air conditioning unit. did all the outlets, like I said, washed the floor. Getting into this little storage area, this was a kind of a brownish tan. It's now, well, let's go back to here. This color green is actually called, I'm trying to get a good picture of green, is actually Benjamin Moore's, I don't know how to pronounce it, Aganthos green, Aganthus green, however you pronounce that. This color here is barley. I kind of expected it to look a little not quite as yellow, but depending on how the light hits it, it's either a cream color or it's this kind of darker yellow color. But I think it looks good. The reason we went with this color is because the bathroom upstairs was originally this color. That's where I kind of started. I bought a gallon of paint. It didn't take a gallon to do that bathroom, so I figured, okay, let's make all the bathrooms the same color and this use up the paint, and this is just a little storage area anyway. So clean this up, paint it all around. These plastic shelving units were here. I don't know if the past tenants left them, but I cleaned those up and just left them here. Get into the downstairs bathroom and find the light switch. This plate, this is an access plate. Evidently the building had done some work before behind there. If I take it off, you just see it's open wall. There's plumbing back there. So you're actually in the interior of the building, and that wall, right, if you can see it right back there, that's actually the wall of the apartment or the condo on the other side of this. So not much insulation or anything bit there. But anyway, they had cut the hole. They had this plate there, but it was mudded, but it wasn't sanded or anything. So sanded it all down, finished it off. What else do we do in here? I think that was it. The toilet paper holder was off the wall. It wasn't holding. This bracket here the anchor had been pulled out, so it was just kind of laying on the floor. And here's a new sink that we installed. So we got a new sink. It looks really good. Oh, another thing we did in here, this cabinet, the base of the cabinet was just all rotted out, moldy, rotted, horrible. So got that out of there and replaced it with a brand new piece of masonite, I think they call that. Other than that, I think that's all the work that was done in here besides the painting. Go back out here. Again with the light switch, that's one of the things that was also replaced. The base plate, or the face plate, metal stripped down to its bare metal. I think they look really good that way. Come in here, cleaned up the doors and make sure they worked okay. Wash the glass. Into here, into the kitchen. This strip, the brown strip that you see down there, that was a piece of gold metal, and it was all bent out of shape. It was attached to the floor by nails and screws and just anything they could find. And the thing is, this is a high-rise building, so all the floors are concrete. They were trying to drive nails into concrete, which didn't hold it so well. So what it did is got a strip. It's made out of rubber. It has a little tab on the bottom that I cut a groove into the floor. There was already a groove where it was separated, but I smoothed out the groove and then glued it down to the floor so that's not coming up, and it makes the transition really nice. Into the kitchen, backsplash. Here's your backsplash. I think that turned out really well. It was a good choice and turned out really well. There was a mirror back there. The mirror was broken. It was a big piece of glass, so the owner decided to go with this style, and I think it turned out really nice. Cleaned up all the appliances, and this sink also, the base of the sink was, or the base of the cupboard was just all rotted out, moldy, so tore that out. Put in more masonite at the bottom. Anything else on the kitchen? Notice we kept the colors the same. This color is Benjamin Moore's Mesa Peach. And the bottom is Antique White, Benjamin Moore Antique White. Cleaned up that. There was a little crack right around here, in here, that's spread out over here. So put some new drywall in there, patch that up. Oh, that was another thing in the living room. I forgot the most major part. Coming in, there's the entrance. Coming in, there was a crack along this wall right above the outlet that extended all the way from the floor all the way to the ceiling. And it ran up there. I patched it up. The thing about this construction of this building is the ceiling is cement, the floor is cement, and the drywall are just big sheets of drywall without any studs in between them. There's some metal support straps, I would call them, that run horizontally up and down, but they're not traditional studs like you would think would be holding up drywall. I guess they can do that because of the concrete building, but anyways, it makes it challenging because the drywall is very flexible. There's nothing really supporting it there. So again, what I did was cut out a bigger section, put some 1/4-inch plywood behind there to kind of brace it up, patched it, taped it, mudded it, and I would say that this wall might crack again at some point, but it's not going to crack where it did. That's for sure. I think that's all for the living room and these in the bottom floor. Like I said, I think it turned out really well. Going back up here, washed the tile on the floor. It turned out really nice, I think. Coming up the stairs, painted the handrails, both the handrails, sanded them down to bare wood and painted them there pretty ugly. A whole bunch of coats of paint on them. Coming up and painting the hallway, this was probably the most challenging aspect of it. That wall up to the ceiling reaches about 14 feet high from the steps. So that was a challenge, but every challenge has a solution. This wall as well was a challenge, but we got it painted. So the hallway is all white, and I think that turned out very well. Going up here, another switches replaced with the faceplate. Just general painting. This area, this is the barley as well. This is the vanity area outside the upstairs bathroom. Nothing really had to be done there, just sanding the walls, making them smooth, make sure everything was sound, and then painting, of course. Getting into one of the bedrooms. What did we do in here? Cleaned up the faceplate, did the switches, painted. The bedrooms are in antique white, as I said, Benjamin Moore. Antique white covered up. So when I got started out, everything was going to be white. I got a big 5-gallon bucket of maintenance white paint. It was taking way too long, so I went and got a higher quality paint, the Benjamin Moore brand, and got antique white, and it actually covered up everything that needed to be. The closet in here, fresh coat of white. Other bedroom, kind of the same thing in here. Change the outlets, antique white, clean everything up. Closet, fresh coat of white, everything cleaned up. The air conditioner in this room was struggling to run. I would turn it on and just nothing would happen. The fan would just barely come on. You could hear the compressor kick in, but just nothing. And it was nice that the maintenance guy from the building maintenance guy came up and checked it out, pulled out the filters and said, man, these things are clogged. So we cleaned them out, vacuumed out the filters, cleaned them up, and the unit works fine now. It was awesome. Coming into the upstairs bathroom. This bathroom is the thing I did first. What are we doing here? Cleaned everything up. Replaced, the toilet wasn't working at all, so replaced the innards of the toilet, the guts inside the tank, and now it works. And I would say that the bathroom may be the one room that needs to be addressed the most in the future. Everything is kind of the way it is now, but you can see down there, this part of the wall down here is kind of all rotted out down here. And I put this plastic faceplate on there just to kind of cover some of it up, but there's really no way to cover that up or that on the down there on the bottom anyway. And what I think is happening is if you look at these tiles in the shower, see if I can get a good enough angle on them, you can see they're right here. These are kind of pushed in a little bit, caved in a little bit. And I think what's happening is people take a shower, water gets in there, down in there, goes down in here and takes out the wall. Replacing that is, instead of why didn't I just cut it out and drywall it like I did all the other spots? We're dealing with tile here, number one. We're dealing with tile down there, number two. This is a really difficult place. You've got this that you got to deal with. You've got the tub sitting here. It's going to be kind of an extensive project. What I would recommend is maybe taking out like a big chunk of the wall, like a 4-foot section and then all the way across, a 4-foot high section and then all the way across. But that's going to involve removing the toilet and maybe working with some tile. It's going to be tough, and I mean, it's going to be fine. Nothing bad's going to happen, more than has already happened, but it is something that will have to be addressed at some point in the future by either the owner or whoever buys this place in the future. I think that's about it. I'm trying to think if there was any other work done. It seems like there was. I've been here a long time. But I think that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got an idea of the progress that was made. I wish I had done a before video so you could see a before and after comparison. But the owner of the building, the older owner of the condo, saw the before and knows how it was. So if you have any questions or comments, just go ahead and leave them down in the comment section of down below this video, and I'll see you on the next video.